Okay, I'm about to get started getting some reading time in for C++ On For Dummies, Book 5. We're almost done with Book 5, just like 30 pages away. Okay. Yeah, I know, right? 4 eyes. Definitely. Ugh. Part of my problem is I have astigmatism in my right eye. It's supposed to help that. I've had it for forever. I just don't like being 4 eyes, I guess. It's not like it's a really big difference, but for reading time, it's probably better to use them. And their transition lenses with the UV, so now I don't have to keep just randomly wearing sunglasses at night, so that's good. Reading various types. Reading files is fun, but it can get complicated when you want to read spaces. Suppose we have 2 strings that we want to write to a file. Okay. Ooh, I forgot. I have to unplug this. Oopsie. Hello, Anton Orienko. That's the steak by the poodle that I'll have for dinner. Huh? I'm concerned. I assume they're meaning steak. But it could be the poodle. I will have the Smiths for dinner too. Oh, now I really don't like this. Okay. Maybe don't. That seems like not a good time for the Smiths or that poodle. Now suppose you wrote these to a file as one big long line to get Reiner said, I was in the 6th grade when I got glasses. My father was like, that's why you do so bad in school. You can't see. Joke was on him. I still sat. Okay. You know, typically speaking, that is a good reason why people end up not doing so good right off the bat. For me, I remember, hi Cassius Dover or Hover. Hi. Thank you for saying hi. Hi right back to you. But yeah, when I first got glasses, and the only reason I remember that I had them, I had to be like 4th or 5th grade, because I have the same problem. When I'm looking down with glasses, I just feel so tall. It's really hard for me to like process what to do when I'm trying to walk with them. But I didn't really start wearing them again until high school for a little bit. And then I got some a few years ago till I lost them. So, but yeah, I got my eyes checked. I don't know, like a month ago, and before that was like 7 years previous to that. So it's a good thing. Seems like the usual level of junk and not any diminished sight issues or anything. So that's a plus. Still got the computer vision syndrome. Still looking at too many screens. Okay, we're continuing on. Now suppose you wrote these to a file as one big long line to get that's the steak by the poodle that I'll have for dinner. I will have the Smiths for dinner too. That boat, either way, it looks bad for the Smiths and that poodle. Now later you want to read back in these two strings. How can you do that? You can't just do this. String first, comma second, semicolon, in file first, in file second. Oh, sorry, it's not dancing. If you want to see dancing, I did 2 earlier lives, both of them featuring dancing. This one's featuring C++ All-In for Dummies. If you do this, the variable first will hold. Yes, thanks, mods. That's true. If you do this, the variable first will hold that, and the variable second will hold the. Why? Because when you read in strings, the ifstream and iStream classes use spaces to break or delimit the strings. Bummer. But even if you could somehow get the ifstream class to go past the spaces, how does the ifstream class know when it's reached the end of the first string? Now, in this case, you may write your application to follow this protocol. A string ends with a period. And that protocol is fine because the ending with a period is the case with these 2 strings that we wrote to the file. But what if they were just sequences of words like this? Poodle steak. Really now? They actually went there. They're funny. Poodle steak eat puddle. Dinner Smith's yummy. Oh no. Watch out, Poodle Smiths. Watch out. Don't come. Time to move. That's what it's time to. And then when you write these 2 strings to a file, you may end up with this inside the file. Poodle steak eat puddle dinner Smith's yummy. Or worse, you may get this, which contains no space between the 2 strings. Poodle steak eat puddle dinner without space. Smith's yummy. Tip. If you do this, the variable first will hold, tip. Here's what we suggest that you do. First, you must agree on a protocol. This, of course, may just mean agreeing with yourself. Oh, it's a good idea. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Here are some choices for your protocols. You can write each string on a separate line, and when you read the file, you will know that each line is a separate string. You can eliminate each string with a particular character. Then you would split your strings based on those delimiters. Running a string to a separate line is very easy. You simply do this. See out my string end line. Nothing earth-shattering there. Reading it in is pretty easy too. You just use the getLine function in the ifstream or iStream class. The catch is that the getLine function wants a character array, not a string object. So go ahead and read it into a character array, and then convert it to a string object like so. char buff 1024 and file.getLine ampersand buff 0, comma 1024 string str buff. Tip. You don't have to convert the array to a string object. If you want, you can just work with the character away. But we prefer to work with string objects because they're instances of classes, and you get all kinds of nice member functions that can manipulate the strings. We're all about making our lives easier. Agreed. It's hard enough. The read string 01 example is in lesson 3-5 shows how to write the strings with a delimiter. You can see that this has nothing particularly magical about it other than the quantum physics involved in running the microprocessor. We don't care about that. Okay, great. We're going to close out chapter 3. Oh, that sounds a good place to stop for today. Listing 3-5. Writing strings with a delimiter is easy. How should I include? I have string. How should I include? String. How should I include? Upstream. Using namespace standard. Void write string. OF stream. Ampersand file, comma, string words. File words. File. Semicolon sandwiched within a double quote pair. Int main. OF string. Delim file. Delim subtext. Write string. Delim file. This is a dog. Write string. Delim file. Some dogs bite. Write string. Delim file. Some dogs don't bite. Write string. Delim file. Humans, that is. Write string. Delim file. All dogs bite. Write string. Delim file. Food, that is. Write string. Delim file. I say. Food, food, food. Food. Delim file, dot close, return 0. I didn't need to be drilling right now, but okay, I guess. The read string 02 example in listing 3-6 shows you how to read in the file strings. We used a trick for this. The upstream class inherits from the iStream class the getLine function. Most people use this to read a line of text. However, a little known fact is that you can specify the delimiter you prefer to use instead of the end of line character. You pass the delimiter as the third parameter. And so we pass the semicolon character for the third character, and lo and behold, the thing worked. Listing 3-6. Specifying a delimiter with the getLine function. How should include outstream? How should include string? How should include upstream? Using namespace standard, string, read string, ifstream, ampersand file, char buff, 1024. Make sure this is big enough. File to getLine, ampersand buff 0, comma, 1024, comma, semicolon, return string buff. Int main, I have stream delim file, delims.txt, while one, string words, read string delim file, if delim file.eof equals true, break, see out, words in line, delim file.close, return 0. When you run listing 3-6, you see this output. This is a dog. Some dogs bite. Some dogs don't bite. Humans, that is. All dogs bite. Food, that is. I say food, food, food. Yay! That's the correct list of strings. Food. Reading for a minute. Input. Sooner or later, you may be reading a file that has this kind of information in it. Really? All right, let's look at that. Hello. There, my favorite number is 13. When I go to the store, I buy 52 items each week, except on dates that start with 2, in which case I buy 53 items. Hello there, my favorite number is 18. When I go to the store, I buy 72 items each week, except on days that start with 1, in which case I buy 73 items. Hello there, my favorite number is 10. When I go to the store, I buy 40 items each week, except on days that start with 2, in which case I buy 41 items. This file has a general format or protocol. The text is easy because it can only be interpreted in one way, as text. However, the numbers could be interpreted as text. The characters, 1 and 3, for example, or as a value, the number 13. How can you read in the numbers? One way is to read strings for each of the words and skip them. Here's a sample piece of code that reads up to the first number, the favorite number. A stream in file where's that text string skip for int I equals 0. As long as I is less than 6, increment I, in file skip into favorite, in file favorite. This code reads in 6 strings and just ignores them. You can see how we do this through a loop that counts from 0 up, but not including 6. You gotta love computers. Most people would just count 1 to 6. We suppose we could have, but we're computer guys. No more, no less. Then after we read the 6 strings that we just ignored, we finally read the favorite number as a number. Notice that the individual words use a variable of type string, and the numeric values use a variable of type int. You can then repeat the same process to get the remaining numbers. All right, that is going to do it for today. Or maybe not. Hold on, let me think of what I'm trying to do. I think what I'm trying to do is delay a bit longer so I can go closer to make dinner time. Oh, but I did want to do a quick 9. That's true. I do want to try to get a quick 9. Okay, fine. Okay, that's going to be it for C++ On for Dummies time for today. Congratulations. We just cleared chapter 3. That means when we start back to C++ On for Dummies time, we'll be on book 5, chapter 4, which means the following. Notice that's called page 658. So 659. And then chapter 5 is here on 669. Then shortly thereafter, we're entering book 6, which means this being the 3rd edition of C++ On for Dummies, there are only 6 books in one. So we're ever closer to the end of this book. Wowie, when I first got this book last May after I graduated, I didn't expect to be able to finish it. But here we are. At first I was reading kind of good, but then life just kept happening, and then I kept just finding reasons not to read. And then I started trying to do the lives, and wow, we're almost done. Amazing. Well, thank you, Dina. Very glad you are also interested in the topic. And thank you for anyone else who's been enjoying some C++ on for Dummies time. So from here, I'm going to get in a quick 9 with the golf. That's what I'm going to do. And that's going to be another string coming up soon. Then after that, I'm going to just have some personal time, eating yummy food time. And then we already did all the dancing. All the dancing is done. So what I'm looking forward after golf time, after eating dinner time, is a bit of Kingdom Hearts time. So hopefully people are interested. So far, not a lot of interest. It's a shame. I love the game. Renardina, if you have some time, it won't be late. My lovely self is back on regular schedule, so it won't be late. So if you are available, Renardina, I'd love to have you. Golf time and C++. Oh, this is C++ on for Dummies. Thank you. Yay. Kingdom Hearts time if you're interested. Again, I'm back to early bedtimes because whether I have jury duty or work, either way, back to regular bedtimes for me. That it was kind of fun staying up late during spring break. But now it's back to regular bedtimes for me, starting today. Okay, let me close down the chat just in case people are not available for the next streams and are interested in putting something in the chat. 5 minutes to close down the chat in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 right now. Brandon said golf is not a real sport. Nah, I hear you. It's more of a leisure activity. But I also see how it's something like a Michael Jordan. Like he went and he had all his time doing basketball. And even tried baseball for a bit there. But if he had decided to default to golf time, it makes sense. For him, it's a way to kind of keep it going in some kind of capacity. As far as having rules of a game to follow and to be active and to try to get some kind of fitness time in. Aside from those people who just spend the entire time golf carting around. Anyway, in my case, I'm just doing virtual, so it's even less of a sport. And you're saying not a soccer? I guess. I don't know. Wow, all the dancing time is all done. Yay. Ryan says a real sport has 2 things. You can't tie and there has to be a chance of what? Okay. Not to be a downer. That's a bummer. Yeah, it's a bit of a downer though. Huh. What I just said, plus I'm not a sport guy either. Yeah, I hear you. Oh. Sorry, Nightbot. We're already done with improvisation dance time. I have to remember to toggle those off before I continue on with streaming time. But yes, that's true. Thank you, Rainer Dina, for modding. Okay, waiting on this timer. Ugh. I'm trying to stay awake. I have to check in after 6 p.m. today to see if I have to show up to a court for jury duty or not. I'm saying I've been trying to postpone this since last year. They just really are adamant that I should be on a jury. I know, right? It's like, of course they're guilty. They obviously look guilty. But literally, I can't sit and pay attention for nothing. That literally is a problem I have. My brain is like overactive. My thoughts are just flying. It's on rapid fire too. So anybody talking like usual speed, I can't process it. It's too slow. I get bored. I'm gonna go to sleep. How is that helpful for me being on a jury? I don't get it. I mean, for what I'm interested in, it's really helpful. For the job I have for grad school, that came in handy. Because I didn't really have to sit for more than like an hour and 20. Alright, that's called time. I'm going to close out this stream. And then I'm going to change where I'm at so I can use my computer to see the chat while I'm playing the golf game. And then we're going to do a quick 9. And then by then I should be in dinner making time. All right then. Thank you, Renardina, for checking this stream out. If you have time, see you in the next couple of streams. Oh, this has been a very chill Sunday. I appreciate this. Okay, thank you, Cassius Jover or Hover. Thank you, Anton Guardian Co. Thank you to anyone who I may have missed, who was lurking. Thank you for anyone who might check this out in the future. And whenever, however, whatever, just make the most of it. That's the most important part. Bye-bye.